Well, we've been covering the sad and disastrous attempt by House Republicans to portray President Joe Biden as a horrible, corrupt leader, and one that was a part of this bribery scheme they've been alleging. And we kind of got a cherry on top of this absurd attempt type moment when we learned who this credible, quote unquote, credible was the word that was used, whistleblower was, Gal Luft, who James Comer and many others had been promising was going to reveal the evidence. We're going to talk to this whistleblower. He's lost right now, but we're going to find him, and then we're going to reveal evidence about Biden's corruption. Well, then we learn about Gal Luft. Oh, he's an indicted fugitive right now. And for what? Well, arms deal related things, oil related things, and also being a foreign agent, unregistered foreign agent on behalf of China. One of the little nuggets that they don't like to focus on is that indeed, Gal Luft was trying to influence peddle, at least as is being alleged in this indictment, but not with President Joe Biden, instead with Donald Trump, a former advisor to Donald Trump. And so just a complete, hard to even write that type of script, political moment, humiliating, and House Republicans are in shambles with their attempt to make this case against Biden. And within that context, I have for you an interview that was done with Democratic Representative Jamie Raskin, where, and this was over the weekend on MSNBC with Jen Psaki, where he makes the point that this whole bribery scheme, James Comer, oversight committee, investigations into Biden is an example of and a representation of just how low Republicans are willing to go to hurt President Joe Biden, or in any case, their political opponents. And now they are showing interest in protecting this fugitive and apologizing for this fugitive and trying to coordinate with this fugitive just because of their hatred for and motivation to hurt Joe Biden. And that is a really impactful point that Jamie Raskin will make here.
So how concerned are you that James Comer was the chairman of the committee, was knowingly, unknowingly working with, co-opted by a foreign agent?
I'm just concerned that the House Oversight Committee, which has a very proud history with, Congressman Waxman as chair, the great Elijah Cummings of Maryland as chair, is suddenly being compromised in a really serious way. Our legitimacy is being eroded by the tactics adopted by Chairman Comer. They essentially have said, we will validate anybody who will say anything about the Bidens. And of course, they haven't laid a glove on President Biden. There are real issues that are confronting our people, and they're off on this wild goose chase related to Hunter Biden and Joe Biden. And their main witnesses are people who are fleeing justice in America.
I've said it before, but you just can't make this stuff up. I don't think I could have guessed, as I also said in the past, that this would be, if not the conclusion, one of the turns of this House Republican investigation. I couldn't have guessed that this would be it, with this fugitive who just gushes of a lack of credibility, and now they're bending themselves into pretzels trying to say, no, see, this actually strengthens our case against President Joe Biden. And it really is wild. And one of the things he said there, even though oversight and accountability of other elected leaders is really important, and that serves a purpose for sure, these types of, as he called it, wild goose chases, as we observe them, it's hard not to think, gosh, what could this time and what could these resources be used for instead? The problems that we deal with every single day in this country, in which there are so many, we could have our leaders focusing on those instead of trying to make out Biden to be super corrupt, when there just hasn't been evidence provided to that effect. And as we watch hearing after hearing on this and other things, the FBI hearings we saw recently, it's impossible not to go, man, if we had a bunch of good faith leaders, all this time could be dedicated to trying to understand problems and then come up with and implement proper solutions. And then kind of on this subject, Jared Moskowitz had a moment during a recent hearing where he talked about the and introduced action he's pushing for now in related to the threat that is posed when we have leaders like James Comer who are more motivated to go after Biden in this case than actually work in the interest of the United States. And here's Jared Moskowitz making this point.
But they're focused on the audit of the Pentagon. Can you imagine if someone audited this committee? Oh wait, I have that audit of this committee. Actually, it's in form of an indictment. That's the audit of this committee. It's an indictment by the Department of Justice because this committee is focusing on working with foreign agents, right? We want to talk about national security. That's why you guys are here. It's about national security. But the main committee is working with an indicted Chinese agent who does business with the Iranian regime and is an illegal arms dealer to Libya. All of this in order to own Hunter Biden. That's how far they've stooped. It reads like a 007 movie, this indictment, except they're working with the villain. You know, that's why I've sent a letter to the China Select Committee, the chairman of that committee, to open up into an investigation into what's happening in oversight, because I'm deeply worried about whether the CCP has manipulated the information that's been provided to this committee through their foreign agent that they're working with, and the information that they're then providing to the American people. It's also why I've sent a letter to the chairman of Foreign Affairs and the chairman of Homeland Security, because I need to know, and the American people need to know, they have a right to know, whether the indicted foreign agent, the illegal arms salesman who is working within the Iranian regime, who is a supporter of terrorism around the world, that's who they're working with. We need to know whether they have jeopardized Homeland Security in their search to help Donald Trump in his reelection. I yield back.
Devastating point there from Jared Moskowitz. And it's complete speculation, but it's not inconceivable that this was the whole attempt of this information being fed in the first place, presented in the first place, as a way to destabilize the perception of legitimacy with the current White House from who knows which entity, but with the connections of Gal Luft, you could conceive of a number of different foreign governments and entities that would have an interest in doing just that. And so in their attempt to go after Biden, House Republicans are now putting in jeopardy our own interest in the United States, which is pretty stunning. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show hours before all the clips are able to be uploaded to the YouTube channel, plus get the bonus show on the weekends, you can do so by going to lukebeasleyshow.com/membership. That's lukebeasleyshow.com/membership, and there's a link in the description.